Hey watch friends, today we're going to take a look at the all-new prototype from Zelos. This is their Starfighter. In case you missed it, we've already actually featured an unboxing as well as the full review. I do encourage you to check out if you've missed those. Those go into full details about the model. Today I wanted to look at something a little different. Specifically, I've seen a lot of people talking about they couldn't decide which dial color to go with, and it's completely understandable. They have a lot of cool options. So what I wanted to do was take a minute to go through and to highlight some of the differences for each of the respective colorways, because there are a number of differences beyond the dials themselves. And I'll actually pop up, I have some corollaries for each of the dials, so we'll go ahead and look at those. First, let's start at the one that actually we have here in the flesh. So this one, of course, doesn't have a corollary because it is the Starfighter dial. So this variant, as you can see here, the dial on this is going to be actually made from an aircraft that flew in up through World War II. This is the Starfighter with a Spitfire dial. The Spitfire dial is, to me, it's really slick. You know, we saw in the full review, there's going to be scratches, abrasions. In this case, we've got a little divot there. Each piece is going to be unique, and that's something I appreciate. I think it's really cool, and it's a nice touch, and it has some history and story behind it. The subdials on this, as you can see, are going to be recessed, and these ones are going to be black. Additionally, as we go around the bezel, you can see that the bezel is going to be stainless steel, and it has black enamel inlaid into that for the text to highlight. The hardware is going to be a gunmetal color we talk about in the full review. It sometimes looks like a gunmetal, sometimes it looks black. As you can see, picks up a little silver when you get at an angle or get the light on that, but that's the hardware accent for this. This additionally does have red accents. You can see at the 6 o'clock position for the text, as well as the second hand, the chrono second hand there for this one. The loom is going to be applied to the hands and markers for this. So there's no loom on the bezel, no loom on the subdials, and I believe it's going to be BGW9 all the way through. And then finally, the price. This one is the most expensive of the bunch. This is coming in at $1,599 on launch pricing. Shifting over, let's look at the next version, which is the Meteorite, which is a somewhat similar colorway. The Meteorite, as you can see, it goes for a similar theme with the gray coloration to that, but beyond the gray, it actually has blue accents through that. And specifically, what we're looking at, the dial itself is going to be unique in that it is going to be a meteorite dial, a natural meteorite dial. That's approximately 4.5 billion years old. It's the oldest known to have landed on Earth. It was found landed here about 1 million years ago, I believe, as far as the analysis for that. Additionally, though, this is the first time ever for Zelos where they actually have blue meteorite inlaid into the subdials as well. So really cool accent there. And then to top off the blue, you can notice, so you have the blue for the subdials, and then you also have blued hardware on that version. Blued hardware is something I personally absolutely love. It is striking, I think, against the gray meteorite accent, as you can see here on this Nova. I think the combination is just sublime. As it picks up the light, you can get that very radiant blue color to that, and against the gray backdrop, I think it's the perfect complement. Love that combination. The bezel on this is going to be the same as the Spitfire version that we're looking at here, so it's just going to be stainless steel with black enamel. Again, no loom for that. Then the logo is going to be still matches with the blued hardware. So you have blued hardware and blued logo all the way around. The accent color on that version, you're going to notice, is going to be white for this. So it does not have a color, which I think is a good call since you already have all the gray and blue going on. The price is going to be coming in at $1,499. So that one comes down $100 for the gray Meteorite version. Shifting over to one of my personal favorites. Love that last one. Love this next one. This is also available in an Aventurine dial. And with Aventurine, the dial is really what you're paying for here. And I mean, it's true across the board for all of these. But that Aventurine dial, it's something that is so hard to capture on camera, but it is so striking. It has what they refer to as aventurescence. This is actually Aventurine glass, not the mineral. But one of the things that's really cool with it is it has metallic flakes that are implanted into, or I guess forged into the glass. What that does is it gets a twinkling effect going to it, which is absolutely perfect for a watch that's named the Starfighter. It gives you that feeling of just going warp speed through the galaxy. Really amazing looking, as well as I can't tell you how much pop you get up against with that silver hardware, up against an Aventurine dial, as you can see also on the Nova here, and this is an Aventurine Nova. That combination, to me, is gorgeous. It is admittedly hard to get on camera. The glass reflects, the twinkle effect is hard to get, all those kind of things, but in person, it is absolutely gorgeous. Because of the fragile nature of Aventurine, do note, unlike all of the other variants, the subdials on this one are not going to be recessed on the Aventurine version. So that is something to be aware of. That one's just going to be printed white perimeters. So you'll have the same basic layout, but it's not going to be recessed, just as you can see is true here on this Nova. Both the Meteorite we looked at a moment ago and this Aventurine did not have recessed subdials, whereas the other versions of the Nova did, and whereas the Meteorite version of the Starfighter does still have the recessed subdials. Hardware, as we've already talked about, including the logo, is going to be silver all the way around. The accent color, similar to the Meteorite, is going to be white accent, which I think, again, was a good call. There's enough going on, and I think anything else would have distracted. And then as for the loom on this one, this was a question that came up. The site has been updated. This will actually have loom applied to the hands, to the markers, but additionally, that one has a black ceramic bezel insert, and that polished black ceramic bezel insert is going to have loom applied to it as well. So unlike the first two we looked at, that one will, and the rest of them we'll see, will have a polished ceramic bezel insert with loom applied. So that's another difference there as well. But you really can't go wrong. Price-wise on this, it's the same as the Meteorite. It's coming in at $1,499. Next up, I wanted to go ahead and pull this. This is next to a Zelos Mako, and this is Mako V3 in the stainless steel. This is the Midnight Blue. The other dial variation that you're going to have is going to be, as you can see, a Midnight Blue version. I will say the coloration from what I've seen without having them side by side, I believe the color is a little brighter or lighter than this Midnight Mako is. However, this gives you an idea. Additionally, specifically, one to look at, this one has a whirlpool pattern to it. So it's going to have a similar texture between the two. That one might have changed up the pattern a little bit, but overall it's going to be similar, as is the colorway. The subdials on that version are going to be recessed as well, and they will be white, and we'll talk about that more again in just a moment. The bezel insert, as mentioned, is going to be a polished ceramic bezel insert, and that is going to be blue, and it does have loom for the numerals. The hardware is going to be silver, and I believe the next one we're going to look at is going to have silver hardware as well. The accent color is going to be red, and that's actually not only applied to the dial and to the chrono second hand, but additionally you'll see the tachymeter actually has red accent as well. And then the loom, as we've already kind of alluded there, that has on the hands, the markers, the bezel, but additionally that one actually has loomed subdials, which is a really cool touch for that, and I think that adds some extra pop and makes that even cooler. So I like that touch. Price on that one, I neglected to say, is $1,399, so that one comes down $100 more. The final version that you have available is going to be a full loom version. If you haven't yet seen the full loom, this is going to be a textured white dial, and here we're looking at it on a Horizons GMT. The texture for that, it's a soft texture. It's not an aggressive sand type of texture like you'll see on many. It's very subtle. You have to look at it close to really notice it, but it gives it somewhat of a flat look. The coolest part, though, about these frost dials is they're going to be full loom. The one that we're looking at on the Starfighter is going to have black hardware, unlike the Horizons that we're looking at, where it has C3 hardware. But we'll talk about that more in a moment. As far as the subdials, those subdials are going to be recessed, and those ones are going to be black. So it's going to look just like it does here on this Spitfire version, but applied to the white dial to give it a panda look, which looks really slick and is, of course, a classic chronograph look. The hardware, as already mentioned, is going to be silver all the way around, including the logo. The accent color, similar to this Horizons that we're looking at, the accent color is going to be orange. You can see this one has some red there, but it's going to be orange there, as well as on the bezel insert, just like the last one we saw. So you're going to have, on the second hand, the dial text and the bezel insert that have orange accents. The loom, as we already mentioned, is going to be a full loom dial. Additionally, it does have black loom applied to the hardware, so it's going to be on your hands as well as your markers. So nice accent there. That also has the bezel insert, will be loomed as well, though that's not a full loom, that's just the numerals. The subdials will not be loomed on that one. And price is also coming in at $13.99. So ultimately, there you have it as far as the different variations. Where do I personally land? I've got to say, for me, I think the standouts are going to be the Spitfire version. Love the history, love the story. But my two favorites, it comes down to either the Meteorite. I love the fact that it's the first time the Zelos has ever done a dual Meteorite finish with a natural gray, as well as the blued for the subdials. I think that's a sweet combination there. I think it looks great, but I additionally think it's really cool that it's a first for the brand. I always appreciate the innovation. As far as Aventurine, the Aventurine is my second pick probably, though it might be my first. I honestly go back and forth myself. Love the material. I've actually owned now both of the prior two, the Horizons GMT with the Aventurine dial, that was a Timekeepers Limited, and then additionally, as we already saw, the Nova. That dial material, it's not for everybody. It does have a lot of sparkle, twinkle effects. Some people call it glittery. I think it looks gorgeous. I think it fits the overall theme of this, as does the Meteorite, as far as the space theming, and I think that's fantastic. But I did want to go ahead and wrap things up. Beyond talking about the colorways, I know a lot of people have asked about straps. So I wanted to throw in some strap footage as well, just to give a little bit of highlight as to what some of this looks like. First up, we're looking at a gray canvas strap, and as you can see, that gray canvas, I think complements it well. Next up, I put it on a Nick Mankey strap. The Nick Mankey, this is kind of like a NATO, like an elastic NATO strap, in that it does tuck and fold under. Very comfortable, and gives you a very different look to the watch overall. Next up, we have an Artem sailcloth strap. That strap, as you can see here, it doesn't quite fit me. It needs an extra hole for that, but I think it looks nice also. It's not a real traditional look for being a pilot-style watch, but I think it looks good on there. And then finally, we have just a Zelos Tropic strap, so a Tropic rubber strap, to give you an idea what this looks like on rubber. Do note that that's not attached here. That one actually doesn't fit me, and honestly, I couldn't really find spring bars to go through there for that, so it's just sitting there, but it gives you an idea what that looks like. Finally, I wanted to go ahead and actually pull in another strap, so we looked at it here on the Aventurine Nova. As you can see, this is a Colorways Strapple, which is an apple-based strap, and you can see it's kind of a brown leather stand-in, and that gives you an idea of that blue up against the brown, but I personally think that would look really slick as well. It gives a very different look to it. So there you have it. I hope this video has been helpful for you if you've been on the fence about this watch, or you're thinking about some combinations, or just wanted to get a little more time ogling them before the launch here. I hope this has helped you out. If you did like this video, please do smash that like button. Additionally, and most importantly, if you haven't done so already, please do hit that subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated and tremendously helps the channel, means the world to me. And then finally, I would love to see your comments. Which one's your favorite? What do you think? Do you not like any of them? Do you wish there was a different dial option? Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.